Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals Podcast episode 133. Tonight, we're talking about underrated games, games that need to be played, games you need to know about that you might not know about yet, and answering community questions and submitted topics. We're talking all of that and more. Well, greetings, fellow Nintendo pals. My name is Andross, and I am joined by my fellow Nintendo pal, Micah.
Yep.
This is the Nintendo Pals Podcast, the show all about Nintendo and friendship. And we are joined by extra special returning guest. It's Dan from Retro Logic.
Hey, everybody.
Dan, we've missed you, pal.
I'm just trying to figure out where to shove my Pikmin. Look, I'm even wearing the shirt. Wow.
The Miyamoto one?
It is.
Yes, I have that exact shirt. I got it at the Nintendo store. I was like, I have to. It's
such a cool shirt. It's like people don't even know what it is. They're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, yeah, I know.
It's a P. Nice.
It is. It is. The Pikmin hype is real in my house right now. Hardcore.
Not just for you, but like, is your family into Pikmin?
My son who plays video games with me very much is. So we've been very excited. Nobody else in my family cares.
Yeah,
fine.
My wife is very excited for this game. She played through all of Pikmin 3, probably more so than me because I didn't finish Pikmin 3 Deluxe yet. I'll get to it. I'm hyped for it as well. Yeah, looking forward to it.
We got this going here.
Well, I gotta ask, Dan, how the heck are you? It's been a while. How
I don't even. Do you know the last time I was on? I don't even know. So much has happened in life.
Yeah.
That I don't even know where to begin. Where to end.
It feels like a long time ago and not that long ago at the same time. Just because I'm a big fan of. If anybody here hasn't checked out the Retro Logic podcast, that's hosted by Dan here, one of the founding Retro Logic fathers. In addition, he hosts that with our buddy Sam and John. Fantastic show. So I feel like I've been in the conversation with you, even though I'm not at all. I'm just there listening.
Yeah, good. Well, for your listeners, Retro Logic is it's a retro based video game show that I do with John and Sam, and we love doing it. And it's been kind of a weird transition for me because life for me has become very busy. So my role there has been a little bit of a step back. Like I'm still basically a moderator in the Discord and I'm still hosting the show, but we went bi-weekly. It's just things had to kind of slow down for me so that I could focus on some other things, but it's still very much a passion project of mine. So things are firing on all cylinders on the show still. But yeah, it's been kind of an interesting transition there, but we have a bunch of other shows now. John has his own show doing, video game topic based podcast, and then we have a film based podcast now.
Yeah,
hosted by a bunch of community members, and that's really fun. Tim is on that one. Solo something. Tim is on that one. Those guys are just killing it, and so it became much more of it became bigger than me. So now when people are like, "Oh, Dan from Retro Logic," I'm like, yes, and I don't do very much there.
Yeah. It's just Dan the man. You're all over the place,
yeah.
and I've been following you as a creator since Dad Crossing back in the day, which sort of, I mean, you branched off from that to do the Retro Logic thing, and those guys went on to do
they're doing
Game
awesome
Pass,
stuff.
Game Pass news. So
Game Pass news, which is so cool.
Yeah, so it's
and I am kind of always like that. I love what I'm doing, but then I'm always looking at the next thing, and I'm like, what's that thing? And I want to play with that. And so like a cat who can't decide what toy to play with. but I never try to like just drop a project. Like I want to make sure that things are taken care of. So Retrologic's still going strong.
Yeah.
But I'm now first of the year I started going back to college and I'm doing piano classes, which is something that it's kind of a bucket list thing for me to learn piano because I can play guitar and I write music, but piano's always been elusive for me, and just kind of like there's been a lot of self discovery in my life, and I decided that I wrote a lot of music in my teens and then stopped cold turkey and did life. And now I'm like, nah, I need to pick that back up. That's a part of me that needs to come back. So that's something that you guys can look forward to in the future is some music by me.
Neat.
Nice.
So, this actually fits very well into the first segment of our show. So maybe we just jump into that. But before we do, I got to ask you guys both, do you know what we're doing here tonight?
We're talking about Pikmin, right?
Pikmin, we are. Yeah. We are going to try to take over the world. That's the same thing we do each and every episode. We try to take over the world of Nintendo podcasts, and we do that through 5-star reviews. So, anybody out there listening that has not yet left us a 5-star review, please help us out. Helps the show get discovered, and makes us feel good about ourselves. Right? Like, I mean, like let's be real. That's the real reason I want the 5-star reviews, because I can look at it and go, oh, I'm validated. I'm doing something worthwhile.
This isn't a total waste of time.
Yes. So you can leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Spotify, and Audible. All those places let you leave 5-star reviews. And with that, I think we'll jump into the first segment of our show, which is called What You Making? And I'll turn it over to you, Dan, as our guest. You kind of already dove into this. You're working on some music stuff, but any other like any projects, like anything you want to highlight that you're working on content wise? It could be anything. Like Micah's talked about games he's been working on as a hobby, developing. I mostly focus on my YouTube and stuff, but
yeah, I would say I pretty much hit it. Like, definitely check out Retrologic. It's just a fun show. But yeah, I think the music thing is going to be something that's going to come up this year for sure. And if that interests you, then yeah, follow me on Twitter, because that's where I'm going to be posting most of that stuff, as long as Twitter survives.
You never know.
Yeah, I think I pretty much already did all that. So y'all go.
I know he read ahead. I am curious, what kind of music is it that you're going to be diving into?
So I'm a huge fan of post grunge, poppy or rock music.
Yeah, I see that. You got a beanie on right now. It does.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you get the vibe.
Yeah.
So it's very, but it's also a little bit like, if I were to choose some artists that are like my inspirations, it would be like Ben Folds, Weezer, Fountains of Wayne, the Pixies.
Those guys go all over the place.
Not a surf.
Like yeah. A lot of these artists are
it's very spectrum. Much, yeah, but it's all kind of like very like either singer-songwriting, folky, or like post-grunge, pop rock, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff I like to make. That's the kind of stuff I like to listen to. So that's kind of where it comes out. Right, I'm doing a lot on acoustic guitar right now because that's the instrument I'm the most proficient at. So it's all coming out very guitar-y, which is obviously, but but I'm hoping that with piano coming up this year, things will start to get a little bit more melodic and more music, like from a musical type of like storytelling, because that piano tends to lend itself to much more dynamic types of songwriting. So yeah, that's your jam. I actually have a song up on Twitter right now that was a song prompt that I did, where I asked Twitter, I was like, give me a topic or a word, give me a quote, and give me a setting. And it was like the first three that I chose. And so it was spaghetti, Kyiv, Ukraine, and the quote was, do or do not, there's no try. And I wrote a song, and it ended up being this ridiculous song about this guy who's depressed because his girl left him for a guy from Kyiv, So he just sits in his bed and eats all day. So he's talking about the kinds of food he eats. And I think it's pretty funny. So you can go check that out. That's on my Twitter feed. And it's just me and an acoustic guitar and my crappy phone recording. It's not like a professional recording or anything, but it just gives you an idea of like, this is the vibe. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you have like all the recording equipment and stuff because you dabbled with this for years. So.
But I don't know how to like turn all that into like a good record. And it's just also the time commitment. Like I can throw my phone down and record a song real quick, but getting all the like processing done of like the mic and my laptop and doing takes and doing like multiple takes of things to make it sound good. I don't have time for that. So I'm doing what I have time for right now.
Yeah, so. Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's interesting that that sort of ties into my what you're making. I have been doing a lot of experimentation with ChatGPT, and one of the things that I want to try that I dove into was like, hey, can you write me a song about The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild? Include lyrics and chords for me to play on guitar.
Oh.
And it did it.
Oh.
I have no idea what it sounds like. I mean, I can get a rough idea. I play guitar. But like mostly by ear and just knowing chords, like looking up chord charts and being like, okay.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's me too. I'm not, I can't read music. I just figure it out.
Yeah. I'm similar on piano as well. Play a lot by ear. But I don't have a piano. That's a bummer. That would be fun to have. But I'm thinking
on Clubhouse 51 games.
The like 6 keys.
Yeah.
Ding, ding.
I think it's like 8 or 12 maybe.
If I get multiple switches together, I could get a full keyboard.
Do you have the Labo piano, though, is my question.
I don't have the Labo piano. No, I didn't get any Labo stuff.
Mine's sitting up there. I'll send it to you. It's completed.
But I think that will be a fun future, maybe like short or video project I do where I try different songs generated by AI and see how those work.
How are the lyrics? Are they interesting? Are they bad? Are they?
No, they're fine. They do a good job with rhyming and making sense. Maybe a little corny. Maybe a little like this is sounds like it's trying to be too serious. But you could make it. You can change that up easily. Be like, I want this to be comical. Include this piece in the song somewhere. There's a lot of flexibility you could have with it. So we might do something similar where I like take requests. We're like, okay, what should we do a song about? And we'll just see what the AI can spit out.
That'd be awesome. You should do that for sure. I'd watch that stream all day.
Yeah, that would be a fun one to stream. But speaking of streams, I am doing currently turning the last stream I did into a video, which I am crunching to get out for Valentine's Day because it was a Valentine's Day focused video where I played The Legend of Zelda, following the WikiHow article on how to celebrate the perfect Valentine's Day for your husband. That is legitimately the title of the WikiHow article. And the reason I went with that one versus like their other generic Valentine's Day ones is because those ones weren't really possible to do in Zelda. They had like all these things that I was like, I don't know how to do that. But this guide, everything was possible somehow in Breath of the Wild. So I'm going through and doing that. I executed this absolutely goofy looking glitch where you move the character Loon, who is obsessed. Do you guys remember Loon from Breath of the Wild?
Yes.
She's like obsessed with that orb.
Of course.
I'm playing through it. I'm playing through the whole game right now again, and I'm totally obsessed with it. Before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, so I'm well versed right now. I'm fresh.
Sweet. Yeah, Loon is like stroking an orb. She's like romantically in love with this orb. Well, you can use stasis and some glitches to move her out of the way of the orb. And then if you crouch down next to Loon, Link gets some romantic-y, cuddly action going on in that. And so that's like the sort of peak moment of the video, the conclusion to the video is.
That's the one where you have to show her pictures of Guardians, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then she breaks up with her orb to go see Guardians. She's kind of crazy.
I'm about to finish that that quest. Actually, I just started it, so that's weird.
Well, you should look up the glitch. It was pretty easy to do. I mean, it actually took me like 40 minutes to actually execute, but the actual process of it is easy. It's just timing it. All you do is hit a treasure chest with the stasis directly at her, and then talk to her right as it's about to hit. And if you do that properly, it moves her out of the way of the orb. It is very funny. I was dying laughing, and also just like, I don't know if I should be witnessing this. This just feels wrong. This feels wrong. Anywho, so I'm working on that project. I also started another video project where I'm playing through The Legend of Zelda. Again, I was talking about AI. I used AI as a guide. I would just ask what to do step by step, and then I do what the AI says to do. And it has done pretty well so far. It really struggled to get me to the tower. It just kept telling
game?
Breath of the Wild.
Oh, it's still Breath of the Wild. Okay.
Yep. So I started a fresh file, and it really struggled to get me to the tower. But then beyond that, to like go to all the shrines, it knew where I needed to go, who I needed to talk to. It's a lot of like me being dumb, like a dumb like rat in a maze, and going the wrong way, and then having the AI correct me to go the right way. I know this is not where I'm supposed to go, but it's what the AI said to do. Like, okay, leave the Great Plateau. Oh well, I fell and died. What am I supposed to do? And they're like, oh yeah, you need to go get the glider. And so then it tells me to go get the glider. And so it's like,
that's funny.
It's pretty comical. How I'm like, I'm getting hit by a guy with a stick. What do I do? And it explains to me how to fight. I was just having fun with it, just messing around.
I just want to see you be bad at Breath of the Wild. That's why that's entertaining.
Oh man, that's easy to do. I think like every video, I'm pretty bad at Breath of the Wild.
Watch the chat percent.
Oh gosh, that's painful.
Where he was blindfolded, and we had to in chat describe what he had to do.
Oh, that's great.
And of course, we're like on like a 5 to 10 second delay.
Sure, yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah. It was kind of painful to watch at times.
Yeah,
but it was also very enjoyable to watch him run off things at the same time. So,
and then I'm blabbing my ear off here, but I'm putting out daily shorts every weekday, and those have been doing pretty well on YouTube and TikTok.
You're changing your shorts daily now.
Yep.
Nice.
Changing them daily. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they're comfy and easy to wear. You know, I gotta love those shorts. Yeah. So those shorts, and I want to do more with that as well. Even shorter shorts.
Shorts.
We'll see.
Some Daisy Dukes.
Questionable.
And then still working on 2 other videos for AI Invasion that are they're there. These other projects are taking precedence, and then we're moving on to those. So, yep. A lot in the works over at Andross 1, my YouTube channel.
Awesome.
Micah, what do you got going on?
Well, I've been making up a lot of boxes and then filling them with things from my house and then loading them onto a truck.
You're ready to move.
Sounds like you're moving.
Yep, yeah. I am. A few states over.
Further away from Andrew.
Technically closer, but still pretty far.
Still extremely far.
Yeah, it's baby steps.
It'll take another like 5 moves, and it
eventually
will be in the same state. House. Yeah, in the basement that they don't know about.
The Nintendo Pal's house.
He just shows up after this move, but like at my house, I'm like, oh, you're moving here. Oh, okay. I didn't tell you, but
Dan was making a lot of sense. I think I'm just gonna.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I haven't really been doing much else besides that. So it'll be a couple weeks before I get back in the swing of things.
Yes, we may get to classic Micah recording from his iPhone moment for podcast. It'll be pretty fun. Back when we were at the mercy of your battery.
Yeah, but I have to message my phone's dying, and you wouldn't see it, and I'd be down to like 2%.
Oh, good times. Well, what do you say we jump into the first segment, or I guess this is the second segment because we just did the first segment. Second segment of our show, the third one of the segments of our show.
Does the intro count as a segment?
Yeah. Pre-show.
Hey, a segment of our show is coming up next. It's the Community Corner. All right, in the community corner, we ask you to ask us questions and submit topics for us to discuss. The listeners have submitted a lot of questions this week. We're going to try and cruise through these because we've got a good pal topic to talk here. We have Dan here specifically for that. But first question, has there ever been an emotional game or part in a game that has made you cry?
Not cry is like games don't make me sad usually, but there are very emotional pieces to video game. Like the ending of Portal 2 kind of like rocked my world for a long time.
That is a really impactful ending to that.
Yeah, it like that one just always sticks out in my mind as like, okay, this is the culmination of everything you learned, and then like now what? It's just sort of mind blowing. Link's Awakening always does it for me because you're slowly, constantly on a path of destroying a people and a girl that you love. So that one always does it for me.
That's
one of my favorite Zeldas.
That's a good pick.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can remember a specific experience I think I've shared on this show before, because I think we've had a similar question to this before. But in Pokemon Diamond, I got to the Pokemon League at nighttime, and there's a special song that plays. Gosh, I feel like I should have it up here. But I hit this moment in the game, and this is also a period of my life where a lot of changes were happening. I think it's teenager at this age. I don't remember, but and definitely was struggling with sort of an undiagnosed depression, which I, at this point now like know can target what that was, and the just the like emotional, like I hit the end of my journey, and it also felt kind of like the end of my childhood.
Wow,
and that just kind of all came to a head for me. This made me cry. This song just like evokes that for me. So yeah, I cried real good for a long time. A little embarrassing because it's like there's nothing really emotional happening in the game. I think it was just mostly my life at that point and what was happening for me. And it's
the very personal answer to that question.
It's the end of this journey, right? It's the end of this journey in this game, and it was hitting at a time of life where it's like I'm not a kid anymore, and I'm not at the beginning of my journey anymore. And that was just a very intense moment to experience at that age.
Yeah, that makes my answer sound extra dumb because I was just going to say.
I'm glad I went first.
When I finished Metroid Prime and I realized it was over and there wasn't more.
Oh, Metroid Prime is so good.
Don't worry, it's been remastered. You could do it again.
Oh, I will at some point. I just did it a couple months ago, but I will be picking up this remaster at some point.
Did you play Metroid Prime 2 at all?
Yeah, played all the primes.
Yeah, primes are prime.
Oh yeah. But yeah. I'm like, I think I'm a little emotionally stunted because I feel like there haven't really been any games that have made me emotional or sad.
Yeah,
video games don't do that for me. Even like really sad stuff, because I just don't get that. Like they're so long, and you have so much control. So usually a story in a video game, I feel like, has a bit of a disadvantage when compared to like something like a movie, which is a very concise experience that's designed to tell this thing. But you could go off on a side quest on a game and totally lose where you were in any story.
Yeah, true.
So I just feel like video games have a disadvantage in that way. Now, obviously, some people just get more impacted by things than others, and so I'm probably a little bit more. I'm a bit more of a more like you, like emotionally stunted in that way. But movies will do it for me, like really, really like well. Like I cry at like dumb movies because I'm just like the puppy, you know. But like that's just.
Have you seen I Am Legend?
Yeah, that dog, man.
Oh man, that is the
It's
saddest
rough.
moment of my entire life.
I mean, I cried when Wilson floated away. Like that was a moment.
I
like,
mean,
no,
you gotta understand that's like
Wilson.
that's his only friend.
Yeah.
He's,
And
if
like,
you have a little bit of empathy, you can understand. I think that's reasonable.
yeah. See, he gets it.
I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I was sad in I Am Legend when he had to shoot his mannequin friend,
Yeah, that was sad too.
and then they made it even more sad later on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like I can probably spoil that with the dog, like you said, but
We already did. Everybody who hasn't seen I Am Legend or read the book or I don't know. It's been out for a while. Come on. Questions,
yeah, I think you can spoil it. There are people that have been born after that have watched all these other movies.
Yeah.
Since it's been out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I can't think of any other like sad specific moments in games that were designed to make me cry. I'm sure if I played like Xenoblade Chronicles, like there's a lot of like moments like that. I'm sure. Apparently, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has some tear jerkers. I didn't play those, so I'm playing Mario and Zelda. Very rarely are you going to be crying in those games.
Breath of the Wild got pretty close for me. There's some moments in that game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you feel very empathetic for Zelda and her plight.
She's rough. I just hit the goddess statue in my current playthrough where she's like, why can't I hear you? Like, this is like, wow. She's like struggling so hard, and you're just like, oh my gosh, this is rough. Like,
yeah, and there's that scene where her father is like chewing her out because she's not it was like this is too emotional for me. I don't like this. I don't like this whole game. And I guess I was really sad with the whole Mifa sideline. Like that's just awful, just terrible and sad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Anywho, next question. Move on to some happier things. We're talking about Mystery Prime. Monkey Thunder asks, with Prime Remastered now released, do you think we'll get the rest of the Prime games?
I think it depends on how well Prime sells. Prime 2 didn't sell half of what Prime 1 sold on GameCube, and like the trilogy exists and that sold really well, but like it's 2 is a bit of a black sheep in the series. So I think we have to see some Prime numbers boosted to see Prime 2.
Yeah.
And also 4 is going to come out like
soon-ish, right?
Like, so you got to think, like, are they going to do, like, are we going to get Prime 2 in 6 months and then Prime 3 6 months after that and then Prime 4?
I hope not.
Prime 4 holiday. Deal? Prime 4 holiday. They're priming us up.
I would, it'd be so
That's
great.
what I'm hoping. I kind of hope we don't, just because I think if we do, we will be getting them before Prime 4, and I want Prime 4 to come out.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I don't know how necessary they are, because the games are pretty standalone adventures and stories, right? I mean, there is an overarching story.
You don't have to play Prime 1 to enjoy Prime 2. There's no story that's going to ruin anything for you. It's just nice to have them and they do kind of build on each other, like gameplay wise, except for 3, which is its own weird thing. But 1 and 2, you don't have to play in any specific order.
Okay. So I don't know. I think we'll see them, but I don't know if they'll be soon.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Monkey Thunder says that 2023 is already looking stacked. It's already looking super, super stacked. So, what are you looking forward to? Is his question.
Video games.
What's like? I guess maybe we can all pick. Maybe we can all pick like our top ones. Like our top 2 picks or something.
Yeah, sure.
Because I mean, I feel like Tears of the Kingdom's gonna fill one of those picks for all of us, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good chance.
Yeah, I like would have chosen Advance Wars if I didn't know about it for 2 years already, and then the hype is gone, but I'm still gonna buy it because I'm an Advance Wars freak. But Pikmin 4 for me is absolutely just Pikmin is a once in a generation, if you're lucky, experience, and we got very lucky. So I'm hype. I want a plush of the dog. I want all of the new captains as a little amiibo. It's probably not going to happen, but I'm sure we'll probably get a plush dog, right? That dog's made for merch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I guess Zelda too. I don't know. I want to know what second half of the year has.
Yeah, I think Tears of the Kingdom is for sure my most anticipated, but besides that, I'm
Peyton Kaidos.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
That's a good, like, it's not my top 2, but it's very high on my list because those games were lost on the GameCube, and they're very good.
I almost feel a little embarrassed to say Hogwarts Legacy. I'm looking forward to trying that out on Switch because it's out now. you could play it. You could play it now.
Is it coming to Switch?
Yeah, it is coming to Switch.
Yeah, in July.
And that's where I'll play it, unless it just is absolutely terrible, and then I may have to cave and game on my gaming PC.
That's Pikmin month, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah, Pikmin 4 as well. Listen, my wallet doesn't need to know these things. Let's not talk about it.
I went over to pre-order a bunch of stuff on Best Buy, and it was like $250 for all my pre-orders, and I was like, good Lord. It's Advance Wars and Pikmin and Zelda and Metroid Prime and the Amiibo, and I was just like, sheesh, man.
Yeah, I'm getting that with just the special edition of Zelda.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Those are probably my top picks. I imagine we're going to see some Pokemon Scarlet Violet DLC, and I'm pretty hyped for that. I'm excited to see more story for that because I loved that game. I really enjoyed it. That's me. Micah, what you got?
Yeah, speaking of pre-orders, I still got my Metroid Prime 4 pre-ordered from Amazon, where I will supposedly be paying $48. So,
oh my gosh!
Like back in the day when Amazon games, if you pre-ordered, you get like $12 off. It's been a while, but yeah, I don't know if that
you pre-ordered it that long ago.
Oh yeah, I've had it pre-ordered for like literally like 6 years at this point.
Back when Bandai Namco was developing it.
Yeah, exactly. It's been so long. Wow. But I mean, I obviously got to say Tears of the Kingdom. And then I'm believing so hard right now. My second most anticipated is Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah, believe.
I will will it into existence. I mean, it seems like 9 months between Prime Remastered. That seems like a pretty good amount of hype time before Prime 4 coming out. Especially because they'd probably announce it at least like 3 months before it comes out. So 6 months.
They had to get your goat ready, right? They had to be like, here's what 3D Metroid is about, guys. You had your 2D Metroid. Okay, there you go. Let's get the real deal out here. Here's Metroid Prime. This is the cream of the crop. Now get ready for 4 because it's going to be so good. It's going to blow Prime out of the water. That's my headcanon.
I like that. Besides that, I got to give an honorable mention to Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope when it goes on sale for like $20 with the DLC. I'm still waiting for that.
Nice.
That is a good pick. Yeah.
And of course,
so that's what we're looking forward to. Also, that like Rayman DLC for that's going to be pretty cool when that comes. Okay. Next, we have an absolute hodgepodge, like a waterfall of questions from the question master Presto.
Lightning round.
Presto the Magnificent. First off, what was the best game that came out in 2010?
Gosh,
Dan, I didn't give you a warning on this one. Oh, I have mine picked. I'm going to pick Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That's my number one game from 2010. Honorable mention to Wii Party. which I was going to go with until I saw that Pokemon one. I was like, oh, shoot, got to go with that because Pokemon Heart Gold, Soul Silver, that was like, that's like peak Pokemon, maybe even still. I don't know. It's up there for me.
That's
I'm
a
embarrassed
remake of
to
like the
say-
best game. So
Oh, Donkey Kong Country Returns. Hello, there we go. Done. Easy.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good pick.
And that's the year that Mario Galaxy 2 came out. So that's how much that's of a Donkey Kong guy I am right there.
Yeah. And I got to give honorable mention to Golden Sun. Even though on the DS, I kind of felt like that might have been the weakest of the Golden Sun games.
Yeah.
It was still good. I enjoyed it.
I mean, Golden Sun standard is high, right? So
yeah.
A bad Golden Sun game is still like a good RPG.
We're getting the good one on NSO, right? That's the one that's...
We're getting the first one.
Yeah, I'm hoping they also get the second.
Yeah, the first two are really, really good.
Why would they not give the second after giving the first?
Oh, I hope they do.
Like why? Yeah, they better.
Because they like connect a little bit. Some things you do in the first game carry over.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, that was like mind blowing. Yeah. I was like, holy cow, that's insane. I mean, there weren't big things that I don't remember much, to be honest.
My dog's name is still Fido.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, you can like arrest some people, I think. And then if you go back later, they've broken out of jail. And if you do that, you can like fight them in the second game or something. I hope I didn't just make that up, but that's like the only thing I remember. But my number one has got to be Super Mario Galaxy 2.
Solid.
Mario Galaxy, but with Yoshi. I mean, what's not to love, you know?
Exactly.
It's good. It's good. Okay. Next question. Would you rather live in a world where the Wii never existed or the Switch never existed? This is a tough one for me.
I don't want to live in either of these worlds.
But I'm just going to say I want the world with the Switch because Breath of the Wild. And I couldn't not have that. I would give up the whole Wii library for that.
Yeah, to be fair, in my this is just my personal opinion, the Wii library isn't like crazy strong. Like my favorite Zelda came out on the GameCube.
Right on.
Double Dash is my game, and
oh yeah.
Like, well, even the Wii,
there's no original Pikmin game.
Yeah, even the Wii.
Donkey Kong Country Returns is good, but
Zelda was cross-platform on GameCube. You could play Twilight Princess on the GameCube.
Yeah, exactly. So. If I really wanted to play Twilight Princess, but like no Skyward Sword, which I can live without. Yeah, I think probably the world with the Switch is where to go.
Yeah.
I think
if it was between GameCube and Switch, that would be a problem. I'd have to like sacrifice a child.
Well, now you know what's happening next episode. They're gonna ask that question.
Well, hold it in reserve for the next time you're guesting.
I don't have to answer it. So oh no.
Yeah, I think I gotta go the same, but at the same time, the Wii was like classic high school time. All the homies coming over.
Oh, Brawl.
Especially playing Brawl.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have as many friends around me anymore. So the Wii was like the prime couch co-op multiplayer time.
I could see that.
But that could have been the GameCube.
So for me, it was
if they just had the GameCube too.
Yeah. Okay, well, pretty easy question. Next question. What do you think Nintendo's biggest success stories have been in the past decade?
These are very big questions for a lightning round.
Yeah. I didn't say like you said lightning round. I was like, I don't know.
I'm choosing to do lightning round.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a short answer to this. I'm just gonna pick like
Animal Crossing.
Past decade?
That's a good pick for the past decade. Animal Crossing. Yeah.
Splatoon for sure. Like that game
Splatoon,
and took over the world.
I just blur like what's 10 years ago and what's longer than 10 years.
No, 2013. I got married 10 years ago.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm coming up on
April's our anniversary.
April's my anniversary too, but I'm not at 10 years.
Oh.
I think this will be 8, maybe 9. Oh no. How
Oh,
old?
You gotta.
What happened?
You got to figure that out soon.
Where am I? What year is it?
uh, um,
Gotta be Splatoon. Definitely Animal Crossing.
I just think the Switch in general.
The Switch
yeah.
itself, yeah.
That's probably what I'll pick as their biggest success. Just the brilliant,
Especially just right after the Wii U.
Combine
coming back from the Wii U, like whatever Switch, just being alive after the Wii U. That's a success right there.
True.
I mean, it's kind of their like pattern now. Because I mean, the GameCube had incredible games, which the Wii U also I think had some great games, but it didn't sell very well. And then they came back with the Wii U not selling well, the Switch doing crazy good. Who knows? The Switch U might not do well.
Oh, we got to break that pattern. Switch 2 has to be good. Super Switch. Let's go.
Yep. Yeah, because the NES to SNES, I feel like was a good transition of successful sales wise. But who knows? I don't know if we'll be able to top the Switch in sales. I feel like this is like kind of insane, but who knows?
Kind of crazy,
yeah. Next question. What do you think the future of Nintendo looks like? This is another big question. I'm just gonna say Switch 2. I think the future is more of this.
They're gonna continue to leverage their IP in smart ways and make tons of money. And there's gonna be more friggin' Donkey Kong around.
Hopefully.
More movies?
Donkey Kong movie, Donkey Kong theme park. Like, how about a video game?
Now the game next has got to be, right?
Yeah.
Jungle Beat 2, let's go.
And then I also foresee a future where Nintendo embraces VR. Because once they do, I think VR becomes mainstream.
Gotta be cheap enough for them to produce.
Yes. Yeah. It's gonna be a bit still, I think. But I don't know. I just feel like their game design behind that tech will be what boosts it forward. I mean, they basically pioneered motion controls becoming like a mainstream thing, and just like a lot of functionality and features. They're always doing something new and innovative with their systems. So, but using old tech. They haven't really been cutting edge since
when VR has been like mainstream for 5 years, then they'll be like Nintendo VR, and but it won't be the same as everybody else's VR. They'll have some twist on it where it's like, but you wear the goggles on your mouth. I don't know.
It's actually a hat.
Taste-o-vision. It's actually a hat.
It's actually a hat.
You can't even predict Nintendo at any point anymore. It's just like
it's true. It's true. What are some of the biggest challenges you could see Nintendo facing in the coming years? These are really good questions, Presto.
Just
taxes.
What?
Taxes.
Why? They're gonna
they'll be making so much money.
Okay. I see.
They're gonna get a Swiss bank account.
I actually don't really know how taxes work for huge companies, so
I have a vague worry about the successor to the Switch, because now that the portable thing has kind of broken through, you've got the Steam Deck and you have Android emulators becoming very powerful, able to run GameCube and Wii and PS2. That's no longer like the selling point for a console. Now they're always going to have a fan base because they're their IP. But how to reach like the masses like they have with the Switch, that's going to be a bit trickier in 2025, 26, whenever the next thing comes out, because portability in gaming is going to become much more mainstream, so I just wonder what that is going to look like and how they're going to spin it,
I think one of their biggest challenges is going to be not scaling well with their IP. And what I mean by that is it has taken 30 years to make the Mario Bros. Movie. And I just feel like this is too slow. Like, they have the IP, and they really need to dive on the IP spread. We only have one Nintendo store in the United States. And they actually only have one in Japan as well. And so it's just like it's the outside of video games, like getting their IP to places that I think other game companies are going to go much faster with. Like Sonic, I feel like has done a much better job with that side of things. However, their games aren't as good.
Yeah. Well, it's I kind of disagree with you.
Oh, okay.
Because I feel like the pace that Nintendo's going now is the right pace. Because the pace before was absolutely nothing.
True.
It was like there's no movies after the Mario movie. There's no cartoon after the original. We got video games and like maybe a plush from Nintendo Power if you're lucky. So now I feel like we're at a good click where it's like, okay, it should be a big deal that Nintendo's making a Mario movie. Like it should be a huge deal that there's going to be a friggin' theme park, like your wildest childhood dream coming true. That should be a huge deal. And if they like push stuff too quickly, then they will become Sonic, which has a lot of missteps in their content. A lot of high highs, but also a lot of low lows.
I see what you're saying.
I don't think Nintendo's willing to risk that. I don't think that they are as a culture are willing to risk that. I think that this is the right pace for a Nintendo property to maintain their value. Their IP is their value. Their IP floated. Smash Brothers floated the Wii U. You could argue. So they need to be careful with their IP. So yeah.
Well, there you go. That's our answers. Biggest challenges. I agree. I agree with that. Like at their current pace, they're good. But I was more looking at like historically. It's just been so slow. Like,
historically, it's been very slow.
I want these things to grow.
What I want is
faster.
more. I want more content for stuff that I love. That's Nintendo. I want Donkey Kong, Star Fox, Pikmin, Chibi Robo. I want like all their IP to be getting like the love. But it just seems like they're slow to adopt that kind of mentality.
Well, this might be a great question then. The next one for Presto is, what do you think the next big... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to skip ahead here. Are there any classic Nintendo games you would like to see remastered? I think Chibi Robo is a great candidate for this.
Gotta get Chibi Robo back.
Yeah.
Just a classic Chibi Robo with the exploring the house and the cleaning up and the vacuuming and the collectathon. And
yeah, just remaster the first game. I mean, I'm not a fan of remasters in general, but for games that are stranded, like have had no love in their series, I'm cool with that.
I mean, we're getting a lot of that stuff now, and I'm really happy about it. I really want to see some obscure stuff like the Custom Robo series come back. Like that thing is a great game, and it just died.
Yep. Kid Icarus. I see a couple comments in the chat for Kid Icarus. Kid Icarus Uprising for me specifically. I don't know if you guys are talking. But Micah, you got any picks?
I mean, not really. I kind of just want to say Ice Climbers because that's just my random go-to at this point.
I don't know why that's so funny to me. What Nintendo franchise do you want to see a game? No, nothing. I'm good.
Just so I mean, like remastered. This is all their games that I really enjoy just still hold up so well. I don't really need to see them remastered. I mean, Metroid Prime remastered, that's awesome.
Ooh, on this
train,
it
also still played very well.
On this train, Ocarina of Time. I would love to see like a big remaster and I would even love
almost from the ground up.
Yeah, I would even love like a Final Fantasy VII remake style, where it's like this is almost a different game.
Do I want that?
I just want some like updated enemy AI and combat a little bit.
I think if you did that, it would need to be like Ocarina of Time 2 in the Breath of the Wild engine.
Yeah.
For people to be okay with it.
Yeah. I'm all for that. Okay. What do you guys think the next big Nintendo game will be? Zelda?
Donkey Kong
is this after Zelda? Are you talking after Zelda? I'm assuming.
Well, with something we don't know about, I assume is what a
3D Donkey Kong.
3D Donkey
Something
Kong.
we don't know much about.
I think it's the next Mario game. Next 3D Mario.
I just want to say put Prime 4.
Yeah.
I want like
Yeah, that's a
Prime
good
4
pick.
on the Switch to just like blow away the previous Metroid Prime sales, because the Metroid Prime games have not sold as much as they deserve to.
Mm.
And I want this to get like
Neo
the
Prime.
widespread acclaim.
Neo Prime and
You know
Chess
what? I
says
wouldn't-
Star Fox. So
I don't know how you feel about this, Micah, but I wouldn't be mad at all if Prime 4 is a Switch 2 launch title. That would make me be very happy, because I feel like that game would get immediate respect from a fan base that, you know, maybe people who love Zelda but have never played a Metroid game would be like, oh, I'll try this, and they'll find some very similar mechanics that they're very attached to in, you know, and I just feel like that would be a pretty cool thing to see.
Are you talking
Yeah,
like Breath of the Wild, where it's on both? Because I think that would be really
maybe.
cool.
I think if they have it released on the Switch 2 or whatever, they'll also have it on the Switch, just because they announced it so long ago, saying this will come to Switch. And it's kind of a like sleazy, I guess, and then you're like, oh, but we're not actually doing it, even though it's been like 8 years. We're now putting it on the Switch too.
Yeah, right. It's got to be both. Like, it's got to be a Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild situation. Yeah.
But I mean, I wouldn't mind that, because I mean, they would have some sort of improved capabilities on the Switch 2, and I'm going to be getting a Switch 2 anyways. I just feel bad for people that maybe have been like, you know what, there's a Prime 4 coming out at some point, maybe I'll pick up the Switch, although I'm sure they've gotten their money's worth anyways, but still.
You can't go wrong with the current Metroid situation on Switch.
Okay, so we have a bunch more questions, but for the sake of time, Presto, I'm going to save the bulk of these for next week's questions episode. How about we jump into this last question from Presto, though, which is, what are some of the most underrated Nintendo games? Because that's what we're talking about tonight with the PAL topic. So, I was waiting for the bumper to finish.
Has it ended yet? We don't know.
I was bobbing along with you. I can't hear anything.
The PAL topic tonight, we are each going to give our top 5 underrated Nintendo games. What does that mean? That means any game that released on a Nintendo platform at any point in history. So not necessarily for Switch.
Sega Genesis as part of the NSO count?
Yeah, I'll count it.
Oh. Are you kidding me? You're gonna put Sega Genesis games on this list? Get out of here with that.
It's on the Switch right now.
About it. It is a little disrespectful to be like.
I quit this show. Nintendo pals.
So I guess I will go first with my number 5. I have these in order. I know Micah isn't a fan of doing that. I have
approximately 2 games chosen. So.
Oh, nice. Well, hurry up and fill the other 3 while I give my number 5 is going to be. Actually, wait. We just got on our case here. Well, I'll go Gunstar Heroes 2.
Wow.
That's on a Nintendo system. That's
a Nintendo game because it was exclusive to the Game Boy Advance.
Was it? Oh.
Okay, I haven't actually played this game, but I just want the Gunstar Heroes series to get more love. It is a fantastic series, and the great games. Treasure, a great developer.
Can't agree more. Love it. Love Gunstar Heroes. I would love to see them do another 2D Gunstar game, a brand new one, like an indie style, right? Like 2D animated, whatever, side scroller. Just make it simple, but like blow it out of the water, man.
Yeah. 3 powers can be combined.
Yo.
Not just 2. You know, like that's like one of the coolest parts of that game is like the different combos you can do, and then working like 2-player co-op to very unique boss fights. I just think really cool design for those side-scrolly shoot 'em games. That's my number 5.
Good
Dan,
stuff.
what do you got?
Should I go? Give Micah more time.
Yeah, give Micah more time.
Mine is not in order of quality. I decided to give myself some rules because most of my favorite games of all time are all underrated. So I just chose one high-quality game from each Nintendo console from Super Nintendo onward. And I start with Super Nintendo. We're going to go with Uniracers on the Super Nintendo.
Nice. Yeah.
Which is a unique story behind it because it's it's a side-scrolling race game with a lot of like trick mechanics, right? Like it ends up feeling a lot more like Tony Hawk than like a racing game, but it's a side-scroller, and it once you grasp the controls of this game, your hands kind of melt into the controller, and you're just like going crazy with the tricks you can do in this thing. It has really great music.
It's just weird too. Like
oh, it's so weird.
Like weird conceptually.
Yeah. And then a funny story I always like to tell about this game is that DMA Design, who made it, actually got sued by Pixar because Pixar's first one of their first 3D animated films was about a sentient unicycle, and it's like, well, there's only so many ways to animate a unicycle, but they lost the suit, so they had to stop producing cartridges. So it's actually a pretty limited number of cartridges available compared to like your average Super Nintendo game. It's not an expensive cartridge though, because it's very just sort of unknown in the space, in the Super Nintendo collector space. But it is very good and highly recommended by me.
Nice. Good pick. Micah, what you got?
I'll go with Nintendo Land, because not enough people have been able to play that. Top 10 greatest games.
Is that underrated?
And you're putting that
potentially
in fifth?
Not in any order. I had to make sure to say it before you said it, though.
Well, that's unfortunate. That may be my number one.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know if it's underrated or just not enough people got the chance to play it.
Underplayed, yeah.
I think I'd say
like they're kind of interchangeable a little bit.
Some of mine are questionable. I'll give you that.
All right. Well, my number 4 is going to be Tomodachi Life. And, I'm a big fan of the Miis. The Miis are the greatest. And this was like Sims, but with Miis, and just very comical. I just want this to be remastered and ported to Switch. Real bad.
Hey, it might be. You got Fantasy Life. You got whatever the other
Miitopia. They put Miitopia here. It's like, why not? Bring it over.
Get more DS love on there.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got for number 4, Dan?
So my number 4 is a Nintendo 64 game by the name of Buck Bumble. You got any Buck Bumble love on here?
I've never heard of Buck Bumble.
Okay.
Have you even talked about this on your show?
I have a little bit. This is why I try to choose stuff that I don't talk about all the time.
Oh yeah. I do remember this one. Yeah.
So Buck Bumble is a flight sim, but you're a bee with guns. It was developed for Ubisoft by Argonaut. And if you know anything about Nintendo history, Argonaut are the ones who developed the FX chip and made Star Fox for Nintendo. And then, they are a third-party company. They made games for other people. They made this game. This was actually their last project before they went under, which is really sad. But it's a very competent flight sim for a one-stick system. And it's really fun. It's fun just because it's fun to be a tiny thing flying around like a backyard, right? And it is very interesting, and the music is banging. So it's a fun experience. Cheap N64 game if you find it. So
when are they gonna put this on NSO?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Ubisoft.
Oh, that's why. All right, Micah, what's your number 4?
My number something is Gladius
for the GameCube.
GameCube.
For the GameCube. Yep. Actually playing through it again right now. Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. I don't know if we need to really elaborate on this game too much because we only hear about it every episode of this show. But Gladius, guys.
Someday I will make you play it.
It's my gotcha.
You're going to eat those words.
Yeah. I'm going to eat those words. No, I still will probably be like, why did we talk about this every single episode?
Well, we can stop talking about it when you play it.
Deal. I'll play it. I'll play it if it ends it. Oh, gosh.
It's only like 40 hours or something if you want to do all the side stuff.
Well, I'm just going to move on to my number 3, which is going to be Tetris Attack. Also known as Panel de Pon. but Tetris Attack is specifically the US version that had Yoshi as the theming instead of fairies and paneled upon stuff. I love this game. Favorite puzzle game. It sort of became Pokemon Puzzle League. Is where the series went after this. But Tetris Attack is, I think, relatively less known as a title in the series.
Do you know what the deal is with that game as far as like it kind of crossed a bunch of IP in the same mechanics, but it's named something totally different? Like, you know what I mean? Like Tetris is always Tetris, but Panel Upon is Tetris Attack.
It's not,
and Yoshi whatever and Pokemon Puzzle League whatever.
Yeah, so it's named Tetris Attack because Tetris was successful. This is the era on the SNES where they just like slapped previous successful games. Like Yoshi's Island was Super Mario World 2.
Right, even though, yeah.
Again, it's another one where it's like a Yoshi game, but they didn't want to give it Yoshi in the title for some reason. So they're like, oh yeah, Tetris Attack. See, it's puzzly. It's I believe that's where that goes historically.
Okay.
Like that's the only reason.
Weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And then they just reskinned Paneled Upon, but with Yoshi's Island sprites. It's such a pretty game. I love the artwork in that game and the design. I think that artwork looks better than the Paneled Upon one, but maybe that's just because I have an affinity more for Yoshi.
It doesn't really.
True. Shy Guy's in it. Oh man, it's just so good. So good. Great pixel art. That's my number 3. Dan, what you got for number 3?
All right. Number 3 is a GameCube game as we go along our Nintendo history lesson here. And the GameCube game that I always talk about is Gotcha Force. Gotcha Force is my Gladius. But I'm not going to be talking about Gotcha Force today, even though I just did. Today I'm going to be talking about...
You got to at least mention it, though.
Gotta say the name every time I show up somewhere. Metal Arms Glitch in the System. This is a game that you may or may not have ever heard of. It's just sort of like some people know it and love it. Some people don't even know what it is because it didn't get very much press. And the development story of this game is actually pretty tragic, but the game itself is a third-person shooter where you're a very cartoony sort of looking robot dude. Humor similar to something like Conker's Bad Fur Day, but not as crass. Just sort of like goofy with like, you know, you're getting your enemies are all robots, but they're all getting their limbs chopped off by your buzzsaw gun and stuff like that. But it has some deep lore in this game too. And the multiplayer is just absolute chaos and it's so much fun. And the developers of this game, Swingin' Ape Studios, came from Midway. And they left Midway, they made the studio. Then this studio, after Metal Arms, was bought by Blizzard, who disbanded the studio and had them all working on StarCraft Ghost, which got canceled. And then they just kind of dispersed from there. And you know, they kept asking Blizzard, this is all in like interviews and stuff. They kept asking Blizzard like, hey, can we make Metal Arms 2? Can we keep going with our IP? And Blizzard was like, well, not right now. No. When they got bought by Activision, all that stuff was put in a vault somewhere and nobody's seen or heard from the series since. And it's kind of one of those things where like, if you play the game, it's so good. Like, the story, the gameplay, the characters, the dialogue, they poured so much love into this game and they had such big plans for it, but it died because of like red tape. It sucks. So Metal Arms on GameCube, PS2, Xbox, and you can download it on Xbox One through the Xbox 360 situation. I think you can do that, but super, super good, really cheap on Xbox and PS2. So pick it up.
Neat. Sounds like a great game. And looking at screenshots of it, it looks really fun.
Bananas.
What you got, Micah? For your number, not number.
Maybe not that underrated, but Kirby's Air Ride.
Oh,
just because I kind of enjoyed that more than Mario Kart.
Whoa.
Double Dash?
I mean, depends on if you're utilizing the Double Dash abilities.
Yeah. This is crazy from Micah's mouth to hear these words.
I mean, the city mode in Kirby's Air Ride was just way too much fun.
It's so good. Yeah.
Of course, then you'd always get like, because you could get like different cars, and you just end up with like the random glider or whatever they call them, and it's like doesn't match what minigame they decided to choose at all. But that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I like know what it is, but I've never played it, and it has its fans, but it certainly is underrated.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. I'd love to see that series come back. Kirby's getting a lot of love right now too, so that would be fun to see.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Well, going into my number 2. You know what, Micah? I'm gonna put Nintendo Land here, so that my number 1 is a surprise. Nintendo Land.
That's a terrible way of deciding what's your most underrated game.
Hey, I think we're not even numbering ours, Micah, so we can't complain at all.
Nintendo Land to me is the reason it's so high on this list. It may be one of the most well-known out of any of the games we've talked about here. However, this is one of the best games ever made. Like hands down, it has just so much content in it that, like, I think it's worth picking up a Wii U just for this game. The party side, then there's also the single player and cooperative multiplayer with, you have like a whole mission mode for Zelda, Metroid, and Pikmin. And then there's a bunch of like little standalone games. And then there's a whole like Mario Party mode where you play these all mixed together. And you're collecting things for your Nintendo Land theme park. It just is such an homage to everything Nintendo historically. Except for Star Fox. It's like, I was like, what is going on? Wait, why?
Tragically.
Yeah, but
we even got F-Zero in there, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's bananas. That octopus dance game. You're like, what? We have a game.
Like the only thing I like played once and like never played again out of all of them.
Yeah. I just think that game is very, very good. And maybe I just have a lot of nostalgia for it, but this is one that I could play with my non-gamer family, but I could also play just me and have a really good time. So this is like one of my top games ever. Definitely. Like
I was gonna say, I don't feel like that game's underrated because it has a pretty high praise from Nintendo fans in general. But then you said you think it's the best game ever made, and I was like, oh well, and I guess it is underrated if you think that. So
yeah. That's my opinion. I think it's underrated. It should be rated as one of the best games ever made. But
got it.
Most people are like, yeah, it was the Wii U's Wii Sports, and I'm like, that's not.
How dare you?
Yeah,
and you love Wii Sports.
Yes, exactly. I love Wii Sports, and that's how I feel about it. Anywho, number 2 for you, Dan. What you got?
Number 2 for me is a Wii game. Are
we ending on the Wii U or on the Switch?
We're ending.
Are we skipping the Wii U?
You'll just have to wait and see, won't you? It's a surprise.
It's a tease.
I will say, I'll just say my Wii game. My Wii game is a game called Alien Syndrome, which is a remake of a Sega arcade game, which is like sci-fi Gauntlet.
I feel like I've heard of this game.
It's also on the PSP, but the Wii version it's a top-down multi-directional shooter that has 4-player co-op,
which we need more of. Like that
crafting system. Oh, dude, it's so good.
That genre is
crafting system.
That genre's dead. The top-down.
Yeah,
shooter. It's like,
we need more Smash TV.
Yes, yeah.
Let's go.
Total Carnage, man. I would put that on this list, but I took Gunstar Heroes instead.
I know. In our Game of the Year episode, I fought for Smash TV, man. I was fighting for it, but yeah. Our Game of the Year episode is about retro games, so it's 30 years old. So it's games from 93 for those who are, or 92, I guess, for last year.
It's the Game of the Year for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still my favorite game. No, but Alien Syndrome, 4-player co-op, crafting system, upgradable weapons, tons of weapons, and it's just fun. It's just dumb fun. Like, get 4 people together and play some sci-fi Gauntlet. That's what you do, And like, why wouldn't you do that? So,
The
And
the Wii version looks significantly improved from.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it's not the prettiest game in the world, but I mean it's just dumb fun, and not enough people bought it or played it. Honestly, like it deserves so much better than what it got. That's it.
What do you got, Micah?
I got Ghost Squad.
Yes, Ghost Squad.
A remake of, I believe, in like an arcade classic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how it differs from the arcade. But they got like a bunch of weapons. You can play it co-op. You can set like the difficulty. There are like a bunch of branching paths throughout the levels. It's just a lot of fun.
Solid, legit. One of my favorite rail shooters.
Yeah, that is a great game. I thought you were gonna say, well, maybe this is on your list, so I won't spoil it. My number one, it's Plock.
Yeah,
could it be anything?
I knew it had to be.
Could it be anything else? Yeah, Plock. I just think that this game's super underrated. Would love to see it come back in some capacity. I would just like at this point just a port of it, a way to play it on modern systems would be
with
great. With rewind and save states.
Oh, that's cheating. Rewind.
That game is brutal with in its current state for its save capabilities.
For lack thereof.
Plock continues.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of a meme with the RetroLogic community for sure. But
it is a meme, but we genuinely love it.
Yes, I was gonna say I unironically love it, and I also love the meme side of it that it's become there. I just think it's such a fun and quirky game. I love the art. I love the music. The music is just incredible music.
I would enjoy it more if it wasn't for like 2 levels. The one level with the fleas, like you have to go so far across this water, and then you climb up to get to a second level, and the fleas will just run off into the water down below, which kills you.
Yeah. Oh, I know what
that is. So
I was gonna say, well, it gets worse, but
no, that is
the one that's worse. Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what level you're talking about. Yeah, and that level also includes the classic off-screen flying, rolling things. I think they're like fruits in that one, like avocado-looking things that you'll be walking, and then they'll just come flying off screen at you at full speed. And if you don't know it's there, damage. It's a flawed game, but it's got it where it counts. It's got heart. All right, Dan. What's your number one?
Good. Okay, my final game is a Wii U and a Switch game, since you were asking.
Oh,
and it's my Nintendo Land. It's my Nintendo Land because it's a game that's.
Oh, I thought that was the name. I was like, "What? My Nintendo?"
No.
That doesn't make sense.
I made my own game. No. Because it's pretty highly rated, but I think that it's deserves way better than what it got, and people tend to poo-poo the series if you're either a fan or you're not. It is Pikmin 3.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Bit of a history lesson about Pikmin.
I thought you were about to say Tropical Freeze, and I was like, I'm gonna have to fight you on this one. I feel like that one sold well and did well.
that is people often who don't even like Donkey Kong call it the best platformer ever made, and they're right. So Pikmin 3, the original Pikmin game on GameCube is flawed in some really fundamental ways. It's a great game, but they fixed a lot of those flaws in Pikmin 2 and created a bunch of other flaws that made it difficult to play and obtuse. And I'm like breezing through the history here.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3, I feel like, is the sweet spot for the series. It's easy to pick up and understand. The puzzles are not super difficult. And it's very forgiving as far as like the number of Pikmin, and even the mission is very forgiving. Like you are not as restricted as you were in the original to like find these pieces. It's all about just like, oh, get this fruit, and there's fruit all over the place. But it's still fun, and the boss battles are amazing, and they fixed all the controls. So I feel like if you have played Pikmin in the past and you're like, I don't like Pikmin because it was too hard or the puzzles were obtuse or the controls didn't make any sense or whatever, which are all valid complaints, try Pikmin 3. Like, give it a go, because I guarantee you it's not the same experience that you would have had with 1 or 2. It's a beautiful game. I am honestly kind of surprised that Nintendo still gives Pikmin the time of day, and I think it's because it's Miyamoto's creation. Honestly, like,
yeah, he pushes it. Yeah,
I kind of feel like the way things get done at Nintendo is somebody high up says like, "Hey, I really like this game. Let's make another one," and then everybody below them has to be like, oh, "Okay, we're gonna make a new."
Oh, great idea.
Yeah, Fire Emblem, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, someone must love Fire Emblem.
I don't know who it is, but somebody.
It's Sakurai, man. Yeah, who else would it be?
Yeah. But that's my sales pitch for Pikmin 3 is give it a go, either Wii U or Switch, because it's the same, it's the same experience, but just it's a series that I love. It's RTS for babies. That's what I would call it.
It's a fantastic game too. Yeah,
it's so good.
Yeah, it's really great.
And
music's great. Yeah,
it makes you very aware of your mistakes with the sound of your Pikmin dying.
Yeah,
it's a brutal game, man. Like, but you're allowed. Here's the thing: in the first 2 Pikmin games, you like couldn't be careful. It was just like stuff's just gonna happen, and you have no control over it unless you're a god at this game, which you'll get there. But like, your first playthrough, you suck. Pikmin 3 is way more forgiving with that. Like, what's coming. You can zoom out much further. It does a better job of explaining things. It's just everybody I tell who to get into Pikmin, start with Pikmin 3 before you go backwards. So that's what I say.
Good
Pikmin
picks.
3.
Good picks.
Mm-hmm.
And now is a great time with Pikmin 4 coming out to
get your feet
revisit.
wet.
Yeah, revisit
Mm-hmm.
the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm sure Pikmin 4 will also be great. They learned a lot of lessons with 3. So if you want to wait for 4, I'm not mad about it. But if you find 3 for cheap, like,
do it. Yeah.
Please.
I recommend it as well. Yeah. I think that's a fantastic number 1 pick. Micah, what do you got?
Well, before I announce mine, what did you think my number 1 was going to be? Because you mentioned that a little earlier.
I'm thinking on your list, you're going to have The Conduit.
Oh, that's pretty good. Honorable mention, The Conduit 1 and 2, especially the ending, because I really enjoyed those. But
Abraham Lincoln, George Washington.
Oh, it's so wild. And then they never made another game.
We'll never see what happens.
Any game with Abraham Lincoln in it has my seal of approval.
Yeah.
Steam World, codename Steam.
Yeah.
Conduit 2, got it.
But I think I got to give my last one to NFL Blitz 2000.
NFL Blitz, man.
I don't even know how well this game rated, but it obviously wasn't good enough.
What do you mean? I feel like this is maybe maybe it's just because I've hung out with you so long. I thought that this game did really well, and
I guess it did do pretty well. But at the same time, I have only played a single copy of this game, and I've like outside my friend group, I've never heard like anyone mention it.
Not that one specifically. I've never even played 2000 or 2001. I played the original, and it was amazing. Yeah,
because there's like there's like a 2002 or something, which just wasn't as good.
Yeah, they were like, okay, well, we just want to make these more realistic instead of making them.
That was their mistake.
Yeah, it's
a blast. It's like football meets wrestling.
Madden killed Blitz.
Blitz should have stuck around, stuck with the arcade angle, man. Yeah, we don't even have anything like that now. I guess we have some indie stuff.
I mean, there's no such thing as pass interference. They pass the ball, you see who it's going to, you just take them out. It's incredible.
I love Blitz, man.
It's a good pick.
I don't even like football at all, but Blitz, I can
yeah, same.
Yeah,
I'd like football. Just it can be interesting to watch, I guess, but that game is so good.
Yeah. Real football should be more like Blitz. That's what I think.
Well,
a lot of hospital visits. A lot more hospital visits, I should say.
Well, that's been our top 5. So in total, 15 underrated games that everybody out there listening, if any of these interested you, please give them some love. A lot of these are from series or games that would really be fun to see come back in some capacity and are lost to time in ways. And so you'll only be able to play them this way. Let's do a quick recap here. I'll go through my list here. My number 5 was Gunstar Heroes. Number 4 was Tamagotchi Life. Number 3 was Tetris Attack. Number 2 was Nintendo Land. And number 1 was Plock. Dan, what's your...
I got Uniracers, Buck Bumble, Metal Arms, Glitch in the System, Alien Syndrome, and Pikmin 3.
I got Nintendo Land, Gladius, Kirby Air Ride, Ghost Squad, and NFL Blitz 2000.
Neat.
Solid.
I was remembering those as I went. I was thinking
You didn't write
really
these
hard.
down anywhere?
No, I didn't write them down. I have no list anywhere.
On the fly.
I remember 2 of them and then had to think really hard about the other 3.
We would have never known.
Well, that is going to be a wrap on this episode of Nintendo Pals Podcast. Dan, thank you so much for coming on. Before we close out here with our Patreon shout out, where can people find you on the internet?
Yes. Well, first of all, please go check out the next episode of Retro Logic, which will feature the one and only Andross as a returning guest who's been away for far too long. And we're going to be talking about some Breath of the Wild, guys, because it's officially retro now, apparently. We have a very loose definition of retro over at Retro Logic. But you can find me on Twitter at Retro Logic Games. You can, we have a Discord community. Go to retrologic.games. That's a URL for our website. And you can join our Discord where we have really anything like movies, music, video games. And we try to keep it all nice and positive and fun up in there. And lots of people say it's one of their favorite Discord communities. So come hang there. Cool. We do giveaways too. We do free stuff Fridays. So that's pretty much it. My podcast, Retro Logic, is on wherever podcasts are found, on YouTube and everything. And
you've got a whole family of podcasts, and you're also part of the Nintendo Dads family of podcasts.
Yes, yeah.
So you have children and you are a child. You're like,
exactly. That's how it goes. We have grandchildren. So we have Retro Groove, which is our music history podcast, which is a better produced podcast than anything I do. Like, it's so good, and they get so in depth. Adam and Liam over there doing such a great job. Film Logic, which is our movie podcast. Those guys are having so much fun over there. Solo Something and Tim. And we have John's podcast, which is called On Topic Retro, where the community plays a game and then he has a podcast and the guests on and to talk about that specific game. So Retro Logic is much more general and like trivia and topic based, and On Topic Retro is much more about like an individual game. And the next one we're planning is about Crazy Taxi. So I think I'm going to be on that one because I'm a bit of a Crazy Taxi fan myself.
Oh yeah.
So
yes,
that's that.
Everybody go check that out. Also, I'll shout out Third Strongest Mole streams for the Retro Logic team there over on twitch.tv/Retro Logic Games.
And there's a blog. He writes our blog too.
Yep.
He does some amazing deep dives into some developers and publishers that you wouldn't believe. So go check out the blog.
One of the smartest guys on the internet. Honestly, when it comes to retro stuff,
keeps me together as a human. That's the blog is at our website, retrologic.games, if you want to check that out.
And Micah, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at Micah Prime.
Yeah, and you can find my gallivanting across the interwebs over at Andross1. That is youtube.com/Andross1 and twitch.tv/Andross1. Thanks so much to everybody who listens and supports the show. You can also follow the show, Nintendo Pals. We're on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. We have a Discord. We have a Discord community, one of the greatest places ever. There is a whole, man, I didn't even talk about this in the episodes this week. There's like a whole like fan fiction thing going for Chat Rule now, which is so great.
Yes.
It's like the community coming together and forming a government around Twitch chat. Love it. Love to see it. I love the community there. We have fantastic
You get fan fiction going in your community. You know good things are happening. We've had
made
fan
it.
fiction.
Yeah.
We've had fan fiction on the Retrologic show for a bit, and it's getting some weird places. But we just, we're all there to have fun. So
yeah, it's a
I
good
love
time.
the Nintendo Pals Discord, and I wish I could like dig in there more. But that is really genuinely such a good positive place to be. So
yeah, I feel the
kudos to you guys.
exact same way about Retrologic Discord. I'm like, I love this place. If only I had more time to hang out.
I know, yeah.
But anywho, if you want to support the show, besides just following us, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/NintendoPals, where for as little as $3 a month, you can support the show, and you get a special shout out in our Patreon Poke Rap. That's where we wrap our shout out. That's right. The best Patreon shout out on the internet. I can confidently say, I don't think anybody else does it as cool as we do. Here it is right now.
We gotta rap some Patreon. You just do the singing. I'll take care of the hard part. Let's get it on.
We want to be the best that ever was. And shout out our pals over on Patreon.
LPD, Rizzle, Retrologic Day, U-Dog Gamer, Schlim, Tor, Spanish, and Solo Something, Brian, Little Miss 7, and Cosmic.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon.
K9 Katina, Third Strongest Move, Tim the Nintendo Dad, Lance, Seth Sturgill, Monkey Thunder, Purple Yoda, Dat Fast John, and Lava Plays 2.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. Patreon. Let's get 150 or more. Yeah, please. To be a Patreon donor is your destiny.
Thank you all so much for listening, and we will talk to you next episode. Bye-bye.